only now, after having my third child, did I really start to ask myself, who am I? What do I like wearing? Do I even have a favorite color? And I've never sat down and felt like a lady.
It was when God and I were fighting. And it's like the pastor knew that I was fighting with God. And he was like, you're crying over your breadcrumbs, but you haven't even seen the bread.
Oh. Hi everybody, my name is Nelisiwe Mwase, aka Mama Nels.
Hi everybody, my name is Paballo Kgware, aka the Rich Makoti, and today we're going to speak women to women.
Let's open the box. There's a black box here. Hey, I want. As I want. Do it like a draw. First topic. Oh, it says the Rich Mac.
Washa? That's me.
Yes?
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
The Rich Mac. The Rich Mac was an accident.
Ow.
There was a video that was trending about Umakoti Mkimbin.
Yeah.
And it was in Xhosa. So then a lot of people were tagging me saying, we want the Tswana version.
Oh, okay.
So then I was like, I don't want to take everything that this person said and just translate it. So I was like, let me zhuzh her up. Let me make her, you know? Then the Rich Mac was born, and then she just never died. She just stayed there. She just stayed. And yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
I like her. I like her as an alter ego. She comes out a lot, even off TikTok.
With your alter ego and who you are, what are attributes that you like about the Rich Makoti?
I love that she loves her husband. She's a lover girl like I am, because Paballo's a lover girl.
Okay.
And the Rich Mac is just as much in love as her husband. I mean, with her husband, like Paballo. But what I don't like about her is that wapap. She's very forward. She's like, I wouldn't want to be like her when I'm married. But there are certain things that I'll take from her, like making sure that her husband's fine. She also takes care of her husband's family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In her own way.
In her own way.
At McDonald's.
Yes. At McDonald's. Or like a boy dealer and stuff. So yeah.
Isn't that what you would want in the future of yourself? Like
it's manifestation. It's manifestation.
Wake up in the morning, dead with a wimp. Ariying.
Oh man. Oh no. And if a mama now, do you think that there are similarities between you two? Or are you like the same person, or are you completely different?
I mean, for Mama Nels, what I think like springs first to mind when I look at her and I look at myself is order. We have a common like for order. If something belongs somewhere, it belongs there, period. You know, we care about societal values. You know, exactly. Everybody has their place and we should function like that. You know, but what is quite different, even though like these character attributes are the same. What is different about me as Nelisiwe is I value a child's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no one else doesn't.
No. She just assumes everything she's doing is for your good. She's the parent, But for Nelisiwe, cares about her children's feelings. So on a personal level, my children are very expressive about their feelings. My children are able to tell you what you did there didn't sit well. Yeah. You know, it hurts me. And I appreciate that about them so much because we didn't have that when we grew up, you know? So even with me, when my kids do something wrong or anyone, you know, I've got a very healthy relationship with being genuinely apologetic about things. And they see that. So Mama Nels is not that, but Nelisiwe is completely for that.
I stand. Yeah. Are we ready for the next one?
Yes, go ahead.
Biggest misconception about you?
I think the biggest misconception about me is that people think like like I'm very spiritual and all of that, but I'm actually very bubbly, tender-hearted. When people walk into the room, the energy I want them to feel about me is that life is fun. There's things we have to do because madala. We will work, we will take care of what needs to be taken care of, we'll take care of our parents, but it is okay to have fun. And sometimes I feel like having the role of Mama Nels has kind of blocked that from a lot of people's perception of me. But I'm good to know business is business, so straightforward. Don't mess around with her. I'm actually quite fun.
You seem fun. That's the vibe that I've got a little bit already from you.
Yeah, thank you. And you?
This one's a bit deep. Because on TikTok, I'm very body positive. So people think that I'm very strong and that I can take whatever they give me regarding like my body and stuff. I am confident. I'm okay with my body. I don't have a problem. If I had a problem, I would have done something long ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm doing something, but it's not something that I'll announce. But I'm actually very soft and I'm very fragile. And those comments, they whack me. Yeah, I feel like I've portrayed this, strong, I got this, I can handle it, but I'm very, very fragile, And then another one that they think about me is that I'm rich.
Actually, your name dropping.
No, I'm very much not there yet. I'm working to get there. But yeah, I'm a very soft, very tender. Like, you need to treat me with care.
Yeah. And now, like, how do you navigate around those feelings when people are mean towards you about your bodies just because they can say things and no one will hold them accountable for it because they feel like it's free.
It's free,
right? How do you personally like deal with that kind of emotion?
I cry
a lot.
Even before I came here, I cried.
Oh, but whom?
Before I came here, I cried. I was wearing this jumpsuit and you could see my body and people were doing the most. And I had to have my little cry. And I talked to my mommy and I'm like, Mommy, I was like, it's okay. And one thing I love about my mom, she lets me cry it out. Like, she lets me, she's not the type of mom that's like, come on now. You know this, you signed up. No, she lets me cry it out. She also gets angry on my behalf. And then block and delete. Sometimes you have to, also for yourself, to be like, no.
Yeah.
But then, block and delete, cry it out, but I'll never let anything from social media take away from anything that I am. Because I feel like social media is not real in my head. Like, it's like...
It's not real life. People think it is. Until they meet you in person, you're like, Ishola.
And you won't. And they won't.
Then they see the outside Ishola.
And they won't. The funny thing is that they will never.
But the thing I don't like about social media is that when we decide to fire back at people, you don't notice that you are driven to these links. You only notice after, but you'll go to the person's profile.
Yeah, screen record them and I posted it.
You see. But you see, that's the dark side.
And then after I post the video and I'm like, hi, Paballo.
Yeah.
And then I remove it.
But it's the fact that it takes you to that dark alley in social media, and we don't want to be there. There are people who just come and dig the darkness out of you. That was a deep one.
You was.
Oh, this one is so interesting. Desiraability. What does desirability mean to you? Like, we are funwa. I don't know what's...
Very Anyway, I don't think I have a concrete answer. Because even myself, I find myself asking, what is it that I do that attracts people? And I think it's just who I am. One thing about me on social media, I've never once portrayed something that I'm not. So I think it's just who I am. Like, I don't think there's anything specific. Like, I go on social media and I show my body and they like my like, I think I have a relatability to a lot of people. And one thing on my platform, my TikTok, is that I'm very open with people. So when I go wish with my followers, I'm like, hey guys, their color, they pumped me yesterday, and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay guys, I'm in love again. And people get that because we all, like, it happens to a bunch of people. So I think my desirability is based on the fact that I can be relatable to a lot of people. And I'm funny and I'm pretty.
You know, when you say it's who I am, it reminds me, whenever I hear that, I always jump back to the word authenticity. And I know, like, in the spaces of creation, they talk about, you must be authentic. And you don't know what authenticity truly means until you really start to ask yourself personal questions. Why am I in this space? What am I doing here? For me, desirability is linked with honesty, you know, and I can relate a lot to what you're saying now. Part of my journey with feeling desirable, not necessarily being perceived as a desirable person. For me, it was really coming into moments where I get to meet myself, I guess. I look at how I grew up. I never had the opportunity to figure out what I liked to wear. So if it's a body issue, I don't know what looks good on me. I didn't have the opportunity to find out what my favorite colors are. I did not have the opportunity of seeing myself before having kids. I think in terms of self-perception and being gorgeous and being desirable and being seen as sexy, whatever sexy is to different people, I never got that. I went from young lady, high school, university. By third year, I was pregnant.
Washa?
And when I was pregnant, I went from slender to boomba.
Yeah.
And then from boomba, I never went back. It just never happened. And so when I look at these pictures, it's like, who is this person? You know? And then on top of that, I wasn't the girl who had access to trending fashion. I wore what we could afford. There was a time where my dad wasn't working for 2 years, and I had maybe like one outfit, like maybe two at most. And every Sunday I was wearing the same outfit. And I never realized I was wearing the same outfit until the people made me realize I'm wearing the same outfit. So the school dry neck, and I had these other nikapok, I'll call them nikapok. So I had a black nikapok that I loved and a red school dry neck. And I wore that every Sunday. Until people made me realize, like, and I went up, abantwana futhi in Sunday school. Every week, the same thing. For me at the time, it wasn't the same thing. My aim was, is it clean? Do I smell good? You know, the basics were done. To them, it was like every week. It was the first time I got aware of my situation. Like, hang on, and those experiences affected the woman that I am today. Only now, after having my third child, did I really start to ask myself, who am I? What do I like wearing? Do I even have a favorite color? And I've never sat down and felt like a lady. I've never sat down and felt like a woman.
That's so wild. We're so different because I'm in that era where I can sit, I can chill and figure myself out.
Yeah.
You know, from when I was young, because I've never had the slender era. I've always been a big girl.
Yeah.
So when I was young, my mom always used to tell me, Paballo, you've got a tummy, so you know your shirts must be longer. So my whole life, basically, I've had that time to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
And I like that for myself. You know, I like that. That's why I'm also, as much as I say that the comments do hit me, they'll hit me for like a day, and then I'll be like, okay, back to my slay era, you know?
Yeah.
I know what I like. I know that I will never be seen dead in a bodycon. You know, I like flowy dresses. I like the bogart. You know, I think that's why it also goes back to who I am, because I love myself. Like, I know myself. I know who I am, and I never feel like I need to be anything else to attract anything from anyone.
Yeah. And so when people are busy shading you, it's actually a reflection on them. We're not sharp.
Girl, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Sure.
We're ready for the next one. Oh, I got two. God in the wilderness.
Huh? God in the wilderness. if I can describe a year of wilderness, it would be probably this year. This year is probably the hardest year I have ever had in the years I've been able to hear in. In the backdrop of reaching 1 million subscribers, in the backdrop of, you know, perceived as like record breaker and, you know, in the backdrop, it is just like the opposite happening. Fame, bank account, fame and bank account, they are not matching. Like that was the year. Everything,
triggering content.
Everything my husband and I had prepared. Like you go into work and you prepare for a rainy day. You think it's a rainy day. You think it's a day. A day becomes a year. A year becomes a year, 6 months. And you're like, hebatung. Everything is prepared. Your backup account, go empty seats. And you're like, I don't even know what is this. One of the greatest lessons I had to learn and sit in this year was that if God can take care of the birds, God is capable of taking care of you. And the magic in that is profound. That birds don't store up for winter. They don't store up for spring. They don't store up for summer or any other season. Birds just bird. Where they get their food, they don't worry. They just fly. And this year, God challenged me and my husband in saying, you just have to be, and you have to leave everything to me. But it's the act of actually leaving everything to God that is the hardest thing. The act of really trusting that God is actually going to pull through for you is the hardest thing. It's easy for us to say, I'm going to pray, Lord, I hand over this situation into your hands because you did say you are capable. You did say you are dependable. I believe that. It's one thing to believe, it's another thing to do. You open your fridge door, you're like, I don't know. Mara, God is there. And then God really does show up. But the thing is, sometimes we expect God to show up on a fancy platter with a meal. There must be some fancy meal. Sometimes it's in the pack of noodles.
To interject, I made a video about this. And I was like, don't end up missing out on your blessing because it didn't come packaged the way that you expected it to come packaged. And it plays in my head all the time. Like, you expect God to show up in marvelous ways and to show up now.
Yes.
So also God is there, like in like a little packet of salt. And you're like, I don't need salt right now. God, dude, that's literally.
And people always tend to say, where was God?
And he was there. You're looking for the Rolls Royce to come pick you up and take you to your destiny. No. The jalopy is going to come take you there. The jalopy will come and take you there. But you don't want the jalopy.
No.
You want the rolls. They want the Rolls Royce.
They want God to provide in a Maserati. They don't want God to provide. Because God, I've learned, is a God of principle. You said you need transport. You didn't tell him which
one. And the only thing you can't even tell him because he knows which one is the one for you.
Yes. God is intentional. And we need to just learn to trust him more. And if we just give him a little chance, just give ourselves time to know his heart, we'll realize that he was there even before we existed. We'll start to understand that there was a plan, a purpose. God was mindful. When he made you, God was mindful when he made me. And everything we've been through was for this moment now. Because we wouldn't have anything impactful to share with each other in this moment if we didn't go through the struggle. One way or the other.
another little line at church. It was when God and I were fighting. And it's like the pastor knew that I was fighting with God. And he was like, you're crying over your breadcrumbs, but you haven't even seen the bread. Oh. Like you're crying over the small, these crumbs, but you don't know that there's a loaf or a whole bakery waiting for you. And I was like, okay, that one was for me. I heard you. And once I took that line into consideration, you're right, it does take a lot to just be like, okay, fine, I'll let go. But once you do, and you keep the faith,
We need to change our perspective also. When there's crumbs, we need to start realizing that there's bread in the room. Because the crumbs are a sign. Without the bread, there's no crumbs.
There's no crumbs.
So we are the problem here. I always say, we are the problem. God is not the issue. We are the issue.
Hey, sauce, my cheesy.
Sorry.
Sauce.
Let's begin. Woo! Adult friendships. This one. This is wild.
Yo, Zaka. And I'm not even an adult. I'm an adult light. I'm an adult meanie, but like it's my. You know what? I feel like with humans, we tend to forget that everyone is going through something. And what I've noticed in my friendships is that people will expect you to be there for them all the time. And when you're going through something, we all handle things differently. I'm someone who I need to reel it back in and kind of, but then now I'm a bad friend because I haven't checked on you in 2 days. I'm not coming to your birthday party. But like, do you understand? So that's my biggest thing. I find myself not being able to be there for people the way that they expect me to be there for them. And then another thing is that now because I'm new in the industry, but I have access to a lot more things. So my friendships become transactional. Where because I'm going to be invited to all these events, they expect me to bring them as a +1. And it's like, how chomi kanjani? Why is that the only reason why you'd call me up when there's a what? I have one good friend. And that friend, we could literally go for like 3 months without speaking to one another. But then when we speak to one another, it's like we never stopped.
Yeah. It's very hard to keep a friendship going when you're an adult. It gets harder when you have children. The more like your responsibilities pile up as an adult, the more it's hard to maintain a friendship outside of your
life,
your family. Friendships my whole life have been very tricky.
I won't lie, same. Actually, now that I think about it.
With adult friendships, I've experienced more rejection than being embraced. I'll be the one inviting. I will not get invited. That thing has broken my heart in a million pieces.
And you see their statuses and their stories, and you're like, hey man, I know everybody there. That's my whole group.
Yeah.
And then I'm in bed.
That time, I'm the one who opens up my home. To all these people, I open up my home. I open up my heart. I don't even open up my wallet. And at the end of the day, it's clear. Ziyakhala ngakini. Yabo ziyakhala ngakini. Ababuyi. Abangmeni. When a milestone celebration angmenya. But mina nanginawo ngiyamema. Inhliziyo yami iphuke yaze yaqina. Say namama says mina nginenhliziyo edivile.
Me I don't.
Mina nginenhliziyo edivile uzofika usingayari.
Yeah, ne? I should give myself time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ihamba ne-age.
Okay.
Angikhona. Inhliziyo yami edivile. Ne? Yeah. Mama so. Inhliziyo yami. I'm sahlukumezeka kalula. I've grown a tough skin around it. There was a group of friends I had. The cord was cut very abruptly, and it took me 3 years to heal. After that, there was another friend of mine who I refused for that cord to be cut. Nothing, I will deal with it, but let me go cry. I cried for 5 months. Then I went to address it. We are tighter than ever now. Because I told them, yaktanda. And now yaktanda. But looking at the way our friendship is, this was not worth me losing what we have built over the years. and I confronted the difficult the difficult situation, and we had an honest conversation about it. Opened up my heart. Then there was new ones after that who tried to come into my life. Then when things are good on their side and things are bad on your end, you're suddenly not affected.
Yeah.
And for me, those experiences are deeply disappointing. But what has healed me in some of those friendships was God answering my prayers. So I would go and cry to God, need to God, why does it seem like it's a pattern that keeps happening over and over with different people? What has helped me heal? God asked me, Gandhi, who are you doing it for? And I realized in some of those friendships that my kindness was not for the person. It was just something God laid on my heart to do. And I needed to be reminded what I was equipped for such a time as that. And that when those people leave, it's not a negative reflection on who I am. It's not a negative reflection of the kind of work I did that God equipped me to do. It's just a reflection of what our chapter ends here. It was good while it lasted. And I had to dwell on the goodness of it while it lasted. So I do not feel like it was wasted effort. I do not feel like I shouldn't have opened my heart up to that person at that time. I shouldn't, I exercised a bit of kindness to myself, and God gave me grace to deal with the rejection, to deal with feeling so isolated after that rejection, This touches back to God in the wilderness, because this year it was not just finances, there's relationships that were challenged, there's family things that were challenged, I feel like I fought for my life. I fought so hard to sit here in this moment today, because wow.
Yeah, even on my side, there's things that I don't think I'm ready to speak about yet.
Yeah. It was
my Mike Tyson era, Sana. All my life I had to fight. No, not the color purple. Yeah.
Before we go, I want to ask you, woman to woman, though, if you had any advice for me, based on this whole conversation we just have, what advice would you give me?
I would say, for the remainder of this year, you should make your inner child happy. We forget about her because we're dealing with so many adult things. But once in a while, buy a 6-pack of juice boxes for yourself, like anything that would make your inner child happy. Because I promise you, when your inner child is happy, you also feel happy. Anything that you would have wanted as a child that you didn't get, because listening to you, how you grew up and stuff. So anything that you may have thought, I really wanted this as a child.
Oh, definitely. I will. Yeah, thank you for that.
I will. Based on our convo, is there any advice you have for me?
The only advice I have for you is that, one, you must continue. You're on a very strong and positive path. If no one is affirming you in that, I want to affirm you in that in this moment, one. And two, these are your years to explore. These are your years where you get to fumble a bag and learn from it. You get to make mistakes in relationships and learn from them. And not just only romantic relationships, even platonic relationships. Just do not walk out of them without looking back and dissecting the corpse. Because when you take time to dissect the corpse of whatever happened that didn't go in the way that you hoped it would turn out in your life or in that time, it means that you're delaying the inevitable. It's work you're going to have to do in your 30s, right? So if you do it in your 20s, by the time you get to your 30s, you'll thank yourself one day. You're making all the right moves. All of them.
Thank you.
Thanks. So good.
Thank you.
I like this. So nice.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Woman to Woman. Again, I'm Paballo Kgware. You can catch me on TikTok at Paballo Kgware and Instagram at Paballo Kgware.
You can catch me, Nelisiwe Mwase, on IG, Facebook, X. I'm not too active there, but I'm there. And on YouTube, catch me on the Offensive Mwase Phones page, baby. New content every week. Me and my husband are just playing there. Like, we just play.
Listen, the day I get married, you're gonna be sick of me and my husband. You're gonna be sick of me.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it, please.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do like, comment, and subscribe.
I look forward to the end of this year. A flowy, colorful dress.
I want a jumping castle.
Ne,
Is New Year's Eve.
Ujambe Kelly. That's when you're saying that a happy picture that springs to mind. I see myself sitting in the garden with a juice bulb.
It's like
a child. You know the joys of, a child when they've got this, they're happy. In that moment, pure happiness.
So happy.
That thing.